Hi everyone, this is Steve Lowndes, CEO of the Family of League Foundation, talking to one of our board members and legends of the game, Katrina Fanning, on the eve of your induction to the NRL Hall of Fame, and congratulations, fantastic acknowledgement. And a really historic moment. Six ladies of the game inducted for the first time. It's wonderful. It's a tremendous honour for you. How are you feeling about it?
Oh, exactly. I mean, rugby league's been such a big part of my life. It's a big part of where I grew up out in Junee, and bush football is what we all sort of do. It's a big part of our identity, and it's been took a little while to sink in, to be honest, because I had no idea that they were going to start inducting women into the Hall of Fame. So I've always taken an interest in it and understand it's such a huge honour in the game. But I was really taken aback, one, that they were starting to recognise women in the Hall of Fame, and that I was going to be included, and that was a pretty special moment.
A lot of us probably don't realise how long the women's game has actually been going. 1995, you're one of the inaugural Gillaroos, and all the inductees are teammates of one side or another of you, so all trailblazers for the NRLW today. What got you first interested in rugby league as a young girl in Junee, and battling a very male-dominant sport, and then later Canberra, I guess?
So in Junee, for junior football or senior football, that's what everybody does on the weekend. It's what brings the community together. It's what people see as success. It's what gave you pride in the town. So my age group, at about 8 years old, didn't look like they had enough players, and I'd played with my cousins and brothers in the backyard, and that sort of stuff. Wasn't quite liked the tackling and that sort of thing. So it was really just to help out with something that I knew was important. Love sport. Our whole family's sports mad, but I just love how the game's played, what it means to our community. So those early years, it was a bit, they had a few little, I'm not sure if we can have a girl play and that sort of stuff, but we got through that, and played for about 4 years in Junee, and then that was 12. I had to sort of stop, and it wasn't until I came back to Canberra, moved over to Canberra, that and a couple of years there, that I realised there was a women's competition, and I got back into it.
Yeah, oh. And fantastic career. So if I've got it right, 24 Test matches for Australia, 2 World Cup series. You represent and captain New South Wales.
And New South Wales country.
And New South Wales country, yeah. You had tours of New Zealand and Fiji.
And England.
And England, yeah. It's amazing. Out of that career, which you went, up to 2006, 75 and 2006. That's a long playing career too. So what's your standout in that time?
Oh, look, I think representative-wise, it's the first Test match. 30 years ago next year will be the anniversary down at Lidcombe Oval. We had greats like Tommy Radonicus come and give us a typical Tommy training session. Keithy Holman was down at Narrabeen at the time as well, and gave us some. He was judo roll type of activities and things. So I think being part of the first ever women's Test match in the world, at the time it was exciting, it was important, but reflecting on it now, that was a really big step forward for the women's game. Before that, there were club games and sort of tournaments and those sort of things, but it really brought a structured pathway together for the game.
I think, Katrina, you justifiably have some pride in where the not just the NRLW competition, but the growth of the game in the bush and the country as well. You must take some pride in that, because you really were one of the trailblazers.
Absolutely, knowing that actually in most places now, girls will play in mixed teams up to 12 years old, but after that, even if it's only in school competitions, there's actually girls know they can play rugby league the whole time through school now. There's no having to stop and then trying to get them back from other sports. I see like Group 9 this year's had a women's tackle comp for the first time. They're going to grow that again next year. And I know for our club, the Junee Diesels, an extra game, an extra team in the club just makes it a much bigger day for everybody, and it's been great success there, and I know that is the case right across country areas.
And of course in Canberra they play for the Katrina Fanning Shield.
They do.
Okay. So you chair the ARL's Indigenous Council, I think, president of the Australian and Canberra Rugby League.
I used to be, but don't. Yeah.
And now of course, you're a director of the Family of League as well. And we do know how involved you are in the Indigenous community. Through your travels, what do you see the impact? You've touched upon it, but the impact of rugby league in Indigenous communities for young girls as well, but particularly out in the rural and remote areas.
Even historically, rugby league was the first place that communities came together, measured success together, competed together, weren't as isolated from each other. That whether there was other things happening in those times, Aboriginal people and other Australians playing rugby league together was the first place that we saw that could work. Where success of overrepresentation of Aboriginal people was from a success point of view, not from a deficit that we see in so many other measures. It's a game that prides itself on including people. The way the game is structured, it's built for all sorts of sizes and shapes of people. Just the nature of it is inclusive, and so and it's relatively to just get out the backyard and start. We used to kick the plastic sort of soft drink bottles around as a ball if we didn't have one. So it's something that you can be doing with very little resources, and I think the success of Aboriginal athletes in the game, people can see that it's a genuine pathway. It hasn't had the same issues. It's had issues in its past with things like racism, but that it's shown for decades and decades now that Aboriginal people can succeed in this game and will be celebrated in this game.
Yeah, we were talking just earlier about the number of Indigenous inductees tonight.
Yeah, 6 of the 17 players are Aboriginal people, so that's just going to be a fantastic addition to the night.
No, and your efforts, of course, very aptly noted with your Order of Australia and ACT Australian of the Year in 2020, so terrific. Katrina, perhaps now a shameless plug for the Family of League, recent name change, of course, from Men of League to Family of League, to remove some of those perceptual barriers of just how inclusive an organisation we are, a charity we are. Why did you become involved with the foundation?
Look, especially playing women's rugby league and representative rugby league, there was no payments for us, no big sponsors in those days. So it was rugby league communities like Junee, like Canberra, right across the country who supported us, who gave for us to be able to raise enough funds to go and play. I know how much volunteers, players put into the game, and that our foundation is a place that gives back to the people who keep the game, who have kept the game going, is just incredibly important to me. It's rugby league has given me so much in my life, and the foundation is a great opportunity to try and do the same for others.
So Katrina, it's the 14th Immortal is announced tonight as well, and hopefully our own co-founder of the Family of League and Honorary President Ron Coote is right there in the mix. Any insights? Any tips?
Look, no tips. It's a really tightly held secret, but I obviously have a personal bias. I think Ron, as a player, absolute standout, even on those merits, should be in the discussion. But to see what his work post his playing days and his contribution to not just elite rugby league but to rugby league across this country should be recognised, and the 14th Immortal would be a fantastic way to do that.
Katrina Fanning, thanks for your time this afternoon. Hall of Fame inductee, it's fantastic, very well deserved, and enjoyed tonight.
Thanks, mate, I will.